Thank you very much, Tori. I appreciate the introduction. To those of you from somewhere else, welcome to Houston, Texas. We're glad to have you here. Hope you enjoyed the bus tour today, and hope we have something useful to tell you. Houston has phenomenal real estate values and an affordable cost of living that keeps us growing, our tax base healthy, and our culture vibrant. As a major city, we offer among the best medical care in the world, a sophisticated range of arts, outstanding parks and libraries, internationally hailed museum exhibits, wonderful tree-lined neighborhoods, and more restaurants per capita than almost any other city in the world. Now let me take you back to 1929, when Houston was just a small city of a little less than 300,000 people, just a few miles to the east. 1929 was our first brush with heavy land use regulation. It was promoted as a way of making Houston a progressive city, a movement that was sweeping the country. You weren't cool if you weren't zoned. In 1939, it was back again as a way to keep fruit stands out of a neighborhood named Montrose near downtown Houston. In 1948, proponents, stealing the opposition's language, promoted heavy land use regulation this time as protecting private property rights. In 1962, it was back again, and it was going to make Houston a beautiful and more efficient city. In 1992, again, with utopian promises, some of the very people in this room were proposing zoning once again for Houston. In 1992, one city councilman wrongly believed it would be his path into the mayor's office. But we're a free market city. Heavy land use regulation was defeated by council votes in 1929 and 1938, and public votes in 1948 and in 1962. And in 1992, we had so much fun voting it down that early in 1993, we voted it down again. And we passed an amendment to the city charter that said, if zoning is going to be brought up as a concept for Houston again, it has to be preceded by 6 months of deliberations, and it has to be brought again to a public vote. Now, in 2008, 15 years later, many of the same promises and themes are back again. In all 5 of the past campaigns, free market advocates stressed that heavy land use regulation in the form of zoning was an attack upon individual freedom, private property, capitalism, economic growth, and competition. For over 80 years, Houston's staunch affirmation of these mainstream American values has been dramatized by its unique status as America's largest unzoned city. We keep hearing Houston needs a plan. We at Houstonians for Responsible Growth agree, as long as the plan dictates public expenditures. When planners try, on the other hand, to extend their plans to the realm of private development, we no longer agree. No planner can be quite smart enough to accurately predict the highest and best use of every property before market demand is actually revealed. We are best served by continuing our flexibility and the freedom to respond in a dynamic, diverse, and growing marketplace. Markets are too complex, too fast, and too ruthless to be managed by City Hall. We do not need an architect-in-chief in Houston, Texas. Because we do not have comprehensive planning does not mean we have no planning at all. Houston has appropriate public planning in the public realm. The Houston-Galveston Area Council does extensive planning. The highway department planners have made Houston the only city that has successfully reduced congestion by adding capacity. The city of Houston plans through its capital improvement plan and major thoroughfare plan and does what Bob Lanier suggested. Put the infrastructure out there and foster private sector growth. They're back again, but they've learned some new ideas. Smart growth, new urbanism, form-based codes. The same ideas with new titles. We are organizing against those who would use the planning process as a Trojan horse for regulatory land use policies that in reality try to convince citizens to give up their own property rights as a means for potentially taking away the property rights of our neighbors. We see that in the name of planning, some would obscure both the cost and the true meaning of their efforts to control land use. Smart growth, a clever term, but what it actually wants to do is limit growth.